You're marching an army toward an enemy city. The dust hasn't even settled and you see it. The gates are wide open. No archers on the walls. No soldiers on the ramparts. Just one man, in plain robes, sitting above the gate, calmly playing a zither. Do you attack or do you run? This is the story of the empty fort strategy. One of the most terrifying weapons in all of warfare. A mind that refuses to panic. And if you stay with me till the end, I'll show you 3 ways this ancient bluff can change. How you handle pressure, risk, and fear in business, in negotiations, and in your own life. The year is deep in the war-torn era of the 3 kingdoms. The greatest strategist of his age, Zhuge Liang, is exhausted. His campaigns have stretched his forces thin. One evening in a frontier city, he receives a report no commander ever wants to hear. General, the scouts have returned. It's Sima Yi. He's coming, with hundreds of thousands of men. Zhuge Liang looks around. On the walls, a handful of archers. Inside the city, a few civilian workers. Some guards. Most of his army is days away. He is, for all practical purposes, alone. The officers around him are already pale. We must flee. We must shut the gates. We must prepare for a siege. They expect the genius strategist to pull a brilliant plan out of thin air. Instead, Zhuge Liang does something that terrifies his own men. He smiles, and he says quietly, "Open the gates." The officers stare at him. "Prime Minister, if we open the gates, the enemy will walk straight in." Zhuge Liang doesn't raise his voice. "Open the gates, sweep the streets, hide the banners. No soldiers on the walls, no archers, no shouting, just silence." They know better than to argue. Soon, the city looks like a ghost town. The gates stand wide open. No barricades, no boiling oil, nothing. Zhuge Liang changes into simple robes. He climbs up to the top of the city gate, takes his zither, and sits cross-legged in the wind. He lights a stick of incense. The smoke rises slowly into the air. Then he starts to play. A soft, slow melody. Gentle, relaxed, almost welcoming. To any rational observer, it looks like madness. But this is not madness. This is calculation. Because Zhuge Liang knows one thing. If he runs, he dies. If he fights, he dies. If he hides, he dies. There's only one path left. He must make the enemy afraid of a trap that does not exist. Far from the walls, the earth trembles. Sima Yi, the opposing commander, advances at the head of a colossal army. He's not a fool. He's not reckless. He is cautious, cold, and dangerous. He has spent years studying his rival. He knows Zhuge Liang's reputation. The man who always seems to be. 3 moves ahead. The dust cloud of his army grows. Drums thunder. Flags whip in the wind. At last, Sima Yi's vanguard reaches a hill, overlooking the city. They expect to see chaos. Closed gates. Archers scramble. Alarms ringing. Instead, they see this. Silent streets. Open gates. Empty walls. And above the gate, a single figure in plain robes, sitting, playing a delicate melody on a zither, eyes half closed, as if he's on a balcony at home, not facing total annihilation. Sima Yi narrows his eyes. Something is wrong. Sima Yi's officers are thrilled. "General, the city is undefended. They must not know we're coming. Give the order, and we'll capture Zhuge Liang alive." They want glory, promotions, the head of their enemy on a spear. But Sima Yi does not celebrate. He remembers every campaign, every ambush, every trap Zhuge Liang ever set. He knows this man, and he asks himself, would Zhuge Liang ever be this careless? He orders his men to halt. Tens of thousands of soldiers suddenly stop. The only sound is the wind and the distant, eerie music floating down from the city walls. Sima Yi studies the scene through narrowed eyes. No scouts on the walls. No archers. No movement behind the gate. Just that man. That maddeningly calm man. playing his instrument as if he is waiting. What is he waiting for? Is there an ambush behind the hill? Elite troops hidden in the houses? Fire traps? Pitfalls? A hidden army about to close in on his flanks? The more he looks, the more his mind fills in the blanks. Every empty window becomes an archer. Every quiet rooftop becomes a sniper's nest. Every shadow holds a danger he cannot see. His officers grow restless. General, we await your command. Shall we advance? But Sima Yi's heart is pounding. This is Zhuge Liang, the man who once predicted his movements, days in advance. The man whose tricks have nearly destroyed him before. And now that same man sits alone, unguarded, on a wide-open gate. The more Sima Yi thinks, the more one terrifying conclusion forms in his mind. This is a trap. It must be a trap. He knows that if he charges, and it is a trap, he will lose everything. And so, the greatest army in the land, standing before a nearly empty city, does nothing. Zhuge Liang continues to play. He does not look up. He does not flinch. He does not hurry. Minutes drag on, like hours. Then, from the corner of his eye, he sees movement. The enemy flags turning. The great mass of soldiers pivoting away. Sima Yi has made his decision. We fall back. He commands. This man is trying to lure us in. We will not give him the satisfaction. Slowly, the army that could have crushed him like an insect begins to withdraw into the distance. Only when the last banners disappear. Over the horizon, does Zhuge Liang stop playing? His hand, they say, was trembling slightly on the strings. His officers rushed to him, overwhelmed. Prime Minister, there was no army in reserve, no hidden troops, only a few hundred men. If Sima Yi had attacked, Zhuge Liang smiles faintly. If he had attacked, he says, we would have died. But Sima Yi does not fear my soldiers. He fears my mind. He looks at the now empty horizon. So today we use his fear to defeat his strength. This is the empty fort strategy. No miracle weapons, no secret army. Just one man, unshakable under pressure, willing to bet everything on psychology. So what can you take from this? Let's break it down into 3 lessons you can use in your own battles, in business, negotiations, and life. Lesson 1, reputation is a weapon. Zhuge Liang's bluff worked because of what came before that day. Years of outsmarting enemies, predicting movements, setting traps. By the time he sat alone on that wall, his reputation did half the work. In your life, every interaction, every deal, every promise kept or broken is building a reputation file in other people's minds. If you are known as someone who thinks deeply, plans carefully, doesn't bluff lightly, then when you're under pressure, your presence alone can influence outcomes. Build that reputation before you need it. Lesson 2, control the story, control the enemy. Think about what Zhuge Liang actually did. He didn't have troops. He didn't have time. But he controlled one thing, the story the enemy would tell themselves. Open gates, silent streets, one man, sitting calmly, playing music. He planted an image, so strange, so unsettling, that Sima Yi's mind did the rest. He made it easier for his enemy to believe in a trap, than to believe in carelessness. In negotiations, leadership, or crisis, you might not control the facts, but you can often control the framing. Do you look desperate or composed? Do you react emotionally or speak with clarity? Do you send 3 panicked emails or 1 calm, decisive message? The way you present the situation defines the story others tell themselves. And people act on the story, not just the facts. Lesson 3. When you're outnumbered, don't compete on strength. If Zhuge Liang had tried to compete on force, it was over, but he refused to fight on the enemy's terms. That's the core of the empty fort strategy. If you can't win in their game, change the game. Outnumbered in business? Don't copy the big players. Change the rules with a new model, a new niche, a new angle. Outmatched in a conflict? Don't escalate emotion. Use calm logic, unexpected kindness, or silence. Outgunned in a negotiation? Don't argue point for point. Change the framing. Change what's on the table. Or change who's really under pressure. When power is unequal, the only rational move is to stop fighting on their axis of strength and move the battle to your axis of advantage. Zhuge Liang couldn't outnumber Sima Yi, so he outthought him. He weaponized uncertainty. So the next time you feel surrounded by problems, by competitors, by pressure, remember the man on the wall. No shouting, no panic, no desperate moves. Just a calm mind, a clear decision, and the courage to sit still while everyone else expects you to run. That's the real empty fort strategy. Not an ancient trick from a dusty book, but a reminder that in moments of crisis, your greatest weapon is not what you have, it's how you think. If you'd like more stories like this, ancient strategies turned into tools. For modern life, business, and mindset, hit subscribe, drop a comment with calm under fire, and tell me which strategy you want next, because sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one who looks like they have nothing and acts like they have already won.